Okay, I just have to do this. I've been sitting on this footage for a while, and because I've been having, well, I guess you could call it a mental block, which sounds awful, really, but I don't know how else to describe it, where I just, can't seem to figure out how to talk or what to say, and so figured I'll just do improvise thing here and see if that works. So with this project, I wanted to show off a couple of Herbin inks. These are fountain pen inks, and I have two. One is Lit de Thé, and the other is Poussière de Lune. Now, this first one is Lit de Thé, and that is French for tea dregs. And in case you're unfamiliar with what tea dregs is, it's the stuff you find at the bottom of your teacup. It has all those little bits of who knows what, like leaves and twigs and who knows, maybe some dirt even. I don't know. It could be a lot of things, I guess. But yeah, it's the residue that's settled at the bottom of your cup, and it's that last bit of liquid, right? And you don't want to drink it because it's got all that stuff in it. So you dump it down the drain, and so that way it doesn't end up becoming stomach dregs. Anyway, I think this color is really cool. But I'm a brown fan to begin with, so it might not appeal to everybody. But yeah, I do like this color because when I first saw it online as a swatch, it just really grabbed my attention. And right now what you're seeing is you're probably just saying, oh, it's brown. But in a bit I will dilute it. I will dilute the ink a bit, and you can see the nuances in the color. Because when you dilute it, you can see the variation and the warmth in the color, and I don't know really how to describe it, but you'll see. And I don't know what I was doing with that T there. That is the weirdest capital T I've ever written. I try and fix it later. Yeah, it does look better later. So I deliberately designed this layout so that I could show off, the line work, washes with a brush. I come in with a brush later. For now, I'm using a glass dip pen because I hadn't used it in a while, and I want to refamiliarize myself with that tool. And here I'm using a syringe just to put some ink into my palette there, and so I could have the full strength, and I could also have a watered down wash. And I'm using a watercolor brush here. This is a Princeton Neptune. I think it's either a number 2 or a number 4. It might be a number 4. Oh my goodness, I don't remember. Doesn't really matter. The point is, it's a wash. It's a diluted wash. And then there is the full strength, undiluted ink. Yeah, I think that's a number 2. So the other one was a number 4. This one is a number 2. And yeah, brown and purple, they are both a couple of my favorite colors, and that's why I wanted to get these colors. And green is another favorite of mine, but I don't remember if I saw green I needed to have from this company or not. it's hard to keep track because there's so many different companies, ink companies, and ink colors, and yeah, it's a little hard to keep track of everything. But these stood out for me, maybe because of the names. I mean, I just love to say Lee de Tay and Poussière de Lune. I mean, who wouldn't love to say that? That sounds awesome. So here is just clear, clean water that I'm adding with the brush, and that is blending the, re-wetting the ink and blending it a bit. So yeah, no, this is not waterproof in the least, and that's... waterproofness isn't something you find a lot in fountain pen inks, I guess. It's just not that common. There are documental inks for, you know, if you need the permanency for documents or what have you. There are those out there. Not a lot of variety in colors from what I've seen, but, you know, I am not an expert, so if that's something you're looking for, you know, definitely do your research, because it's probably out there. But yeah, so with these diluted washes here, you can kind of see, hopefully you can notice the hint of green, especially in that middle section there. The middle section that's, it kind of looks like a cameo there, the oval, and then in the center there, that's the lightest wash. And I think you can kind of see the variations best there. Now this paper is, it's nothing fancy, it's just cellulose, cold press watercolor paper. It's and it worked fine for this purpose. The glass tip pen, it worked fine on here. This texture it's not highly textured. It is a cold press, but it's not super bumpy like some other cold presses. This is a Strathmore 400 series watercolor paper. I was given a pad by a friend, and so it came in handy for this. And this is, I was just testing to see just how staining it is. So I applied some clear water and tried to lift. I wasn't very patient. I could have left the water on there longer, and it would probably have lifted more of the color from the paper, but I was impatient. And here is Poussière de Lune, which translated means moon dust, which might not be what you thought. And on the previous piece, the Lee de Tay, the motif was supposed to be tea leaves. So that was the design element on the previous one. This one, I was going with a celestial or heavenly bodies theme, and that's why there are stars and moons and little speckles of, who knows, space dust. Cosmic remnants. So yeah, this is an interesting purple, and at times it seems quite red leaning, but other times not so much. And maybe not so much here, but later on you can see why it kind of reminds me a little bit of the Daniel Smith watercolor paint. Oh, what is that called? Very popular purple that has color separation going on, and now I just cannot remember the name of it. I don't know why. I'll put it up as a caption for sure. Shadow something? Shadow, moon glow. Why couldn't I think of that? It's called Moon Glow. Very popular, kind of a muted, dusty purple that separates into its red and blue components. And I think there's some green in there as well. And a really pretty color. And this kind of reminds me of Daniel Smith's Moon Glow. But this is what I mean, where look at this diluted wash. It looks very reddish, doesn't it? Like a very red leaning purple. But interestingly, when I look at it in my hand here, it looks more bluish than it looks there. It might have been my lighting at the time, or it might have been a drying shift, possibly. So, and there is the full strength ink, undiluted, a very deep color, very almost wine-like. So, although I have had Poussière de Lune for a while, maybe a few weeks, Lee Dete was a more recent acquisition, and I hadn't really played with Lee Dete at all, really, until now. But yeah, I kind of wanted to show these two colors from this brand, Herbin. And I think in the title I'm going to call this Art-Swatching, and I'm calling it that because it's more than just a stroke or two with a brush. It's actual design. It's actual. I don't want to call it a piece of art, but I think you know what I mean. It's a design. It's more than just a swatch, and I think you can tell more about how these inks behave under a project like this, as opposed to just a simple swatch. Because you can see how it performs with a glass dip pen. You can also see how it performs with a watercolor brush. You can see it in full strength. You can see it diluted in a wash. I think you can see it where I've gone over the lines multiple times to darken them. And yeah, I think it's a useful exercise if you're wanting to explore your ink. It's not the only way to do it. I mean, I watched quite a few other YouTubers who swatch and demonstrate fountain pens and fountain pen inks, and as well as other art mediums like watercolors and so forth. And, they all do it their own way. And this was just a way that I thought would be interesting and fun for me, and hopefully for you, the viewer, too. Anyway, thanks for watching. Until next time, stay artsy, my friends.